and I start in here a hunger strike because I was suffering too much, and I start a hunger strike, and that time they start giving me a codeine and morphine as a painkiller.
How difficult was it for you to get access to lawyers when you were in Guantanamo Bay?
When I start hunger strike, one of my friends over there, he was a detainee, he told his lawyers he's going to die. And that reason, the court allowed my lawyers to see me one time visit because my life-threatening conditions.
So that was the only visit you had?
Yes.
How do you feel about Americans and about the Americans who treated you this way in Guantanamo Bay?
If I said like I am not angry, definitely that's not the truth. In my heart, definitely I am angry, because if I did something bad and they punish me, this is okay, because you know I did bad and I've been getting a punishment for that. But I have not did anything bad. In my whole life, I have never cursed anyone. My friends since 20 years also, they have been with me. If you ask them, they will say, I have never cursed anyone. I have never killed ants in my life. This is really painful what they did it to me, and not, I can't forget what they did it to me. And is no word to explain.
And you're still suffering the after effects?
Yes.
You've said that you still have nightmares that you're in Guantanamo.
Yes, I still, since they arrested me from 9 January up to now, today, every second night I have nightmares, and mid of night I wake up screaming, yelling, and crying. Even no one can do that with the animals. I don't know manage how they can do that with a human being. The Americans destroyed our entire life, because you know, when we suffering more than we was in Guantanamo Bay. When the people call you terrorist and you don't have money to get your medications and treat yourself.
Do you feel, Saad, that they have destroyed your reputation, as well as damaging you physically, but that they have taken your good name?
Yes, definitely, yes. Because I was like an ambassador of the Quran. I recite the Quran, I teach a Quran. And now people call me like he's a Guantanamo person or he's a terrorist person.
What were you doing in Indonesia when they arrested you? Why were you there?
My dad, back in 1990, he was transferred, sending by Saudi government as a honorary diplomat to Indonesia. He was a professor and the dean of Islamic Institute in Jakarta. And I have my stepmom and stepbrother from Indonesia. So my dad is died And that's, I thought I should go in Indonesia, and met with my step mother and step brother and my dad's colleagues over there, and informed them my dad has been passed away.
And who did you meet in Indonesia? How did you get into trouble there?
They said I have met with the Islamic extremist group, they mentioning IDF, Islamic Defense Front. I met Islamic Defense Front people over there. But I was before I go from Pakistan to Indonesia also, I was a famous reciter of the Quran in Broadcasting Corporation in Pakistan. I have speeching with the Muslims about the Quran. So I was a well-known person in Pakistan also. I flown over there, and in Indonesia, my dad was a well-known person over there also as an Islamic scholar. So I met people over there just because they was knowing my dad, and they was Islamic scholars. If they have any relation with any terrorist groups or extremist group, or the United States considered them as a terrorist, I doesn't know anything about that.
But you were involved with an anti-Shia organization?
Not a member. It's not like I was a member. It's just speeching a Quran.
So why do you think you were arrested?
I still shocked why they arrest me, because they have not explained me anything. Even 7 years when I got released also, they said, did not explain me. So many times I asked them, each interrogator come to interrogate me, I asked him, why you guys arrest me? They said, we don't know.
Did you ever discuss putting bombs in shoes, as the Americans have claimed in Defense Department documents they have released? Did you ever discuss that with anyone?
Americans claim a lot of things. Americans said, I went to Afghanistan. Americans said, I have met Osama bin Laden. Americans said, I was a Secretary General for anti-Shia groups in Pakistan. And this is all not truth.
So you never met Osama bin Laden?
No.
And you never had contact with the shoe bomber Richard Reed?
No. Or I always said, Richard Reed in your hands. Ask him, show him my picture. And they said, we show your picture to Richard Reed. He doesn't know you. So it's no question left. If he doesn't know me, if he knows me, take me to court. If they think they have evidence and they heard I talking about shoe bomb, take me to court.
But they never did?
No.
What are your feelings about Osama bin Laden?
I can't make comments personally about him because I don't know him.
But you know he's responsible for the 9/11 attacks. So how do you feel about that?
What happened in 9/11 is wrong. Because Islam, Muslim religion, it doesn't teach to kill innocent people. I am not happy what happened in 9/11. Killing innocent people, there's no religions allowed to do that.
And how do you feel about the Taliban?
I don't know about them. Only the news I have is what I heard from the media, and that could be wrong and that could be truth. And I have no contact with them, and I don't know anything about the Taliban.
But do you support what they're doing in Afghanistan?
No, I did not.
Do you blame the British government in part for what happened to you? Because you were taken through Diego Garcia, you believe?
Definitely, they are a part. They are a part, and if they denied, they doesn't know, they should know. They should know what happened to me. And Miliband, the former foreign minister of British government, he had accepted the one plane of rendition flight does come in Diego Garcia.
You say you've never had contact with any militant groups, with Osama bin Laden, with anybody else, but in Guantanamo Bay, they judged you to be an enemy combatant. This is something they can explain. I can't, because I explained for you. I asked them so many times that questions. They just said the Washington DC need to keep you in here. And when they decide to let you free, then all the charges will be dropped. And that's I've been seen.
1 year they give me a 15 charges, and the second year they give me 8 charges. And before they release me, they drop by themselves all the charges.
Some people listening to you, maybe many people listening to you, will say you couldn't have been in Guantanamo Bay for all of those years unless you were guilty of something.
Like I explained, I have never done anything bad. If they think I have met terrorist people in Indonesia during the visit of 56 days in Indonesia, so I was by myself. Honestly, I doesn't know anyone them is including in terrorism or in terrorist activities.
You were freed from Guantanamo Bay in August 2008, but more than 2 years later, you feel like you're still not free here in Pakistan. What restrictions have been placed on you?
Like I explained for you, I'm suffering more than I was suffering in Guantanamo Bay, because in there I am imprisoned. I have no choice. I'm imprisoned, I have no choice. But after I release by the court order from Washington DC, American court, I come back in Pakistan. The Pakistani government put me in house arrest. And schedule fourth schedules mean the person in schedule 4th, he doesn't allowed to go off the house where he living without the authorities' permission. What's the reason? If the American court get me free, allowed me to go back to Pakistan, what's a reason for the Pakistani government put me in 4th schedule and the house arrest?
Do you feel like you're still fighting for your freedom?
Sometimes I think it can be a suicide end of my life in Pakistan, because I've been tortured since 2002. What's the difference between Guantanamo and Pakistan? Nothing. It just over there is a small cage and Pakistan is the bigger cage. That's it.